So we are in the chapter, the ladder of self-transcendence. So again, keep in mind with clear vision, okay, three levels. Level one is inconscient from the bottom, then subconscious slightly over it, then you have matter, then you have life, and you have mind. So these five planes constitute the lower hemisphere level one. Then your consciousness or your soul, whatever it is, goes to the next level, the second level, and that is above the mind. You become trigunatita. You are not identified with your body, mind, life, and you enter the four planes of consciousness according to Sri Aurobindo: higher mind, element mind, intuitive mind, and the overmind. But you are in a knowledge, you become 10 times more knowledgeable, but you are not perfect still. So that's the second level. Then you climb to the third level with great difficulty. Not everybody has done it. Or you can have glimpses of the Vijnana, that's the third level, the supermind. Or in Indian terms, you call it the Vijnana. Okay. In the second level, it is Jnana. In the first level, it is Ajnana, ignorance. And in the second level, it is Jnana, okay, knowledge. And in the third level, it is supreme knowledge. You have the explanation for everything that's a mystery in the physical world. Okay. So with that, we are going to read Vijnana or Gnosis. Gnosis, remember, uses the word Gnosis because it doesn't like the word supermind, because supermind can be interpreted wrongly. Either you can think that it is just over in the second level, supermind, above the mind, or you may think that it is the highest. It is neither. It is neither the lowest nor the highest. It is the intermediate plane, level 2, and it is level 3. Above level 3, there is level 4, which is the Satchitananda, the unmanifest. Okay. So with this background, we'll start reading. Yeah. So Yasmin, you offer and you can read.
What did you say? Agyana, and after Agyana is what?
Uh, After that is Vijnana, supreme knowledge.
No. Before Vijnana was what? Jnana.
Yeah, Jnana is knowledge.
So the second level is just Jnana.
Yeah, the second level you can say Jnana because the first level is Ajnana, ignorance. Okay. And these are broad terms. Yeah. Tell me. So level 1, Ajnana, level 2, Jnana, level 3, Vijnana, and the highest is the Karana or the unmanifest. There's no name for it.
Vijnana of Gnosis.
Yeah,
In a
Vijnana
perfect,
is the supermind, yes.
in a perfect self-transcendence, we pass out and up from the ignorance or half-enlightenment of our mental conscious being into a greater wisdom self and truth power above it, there to dwell in the unwalled light of a divine knowledge. The mental man that we are is changed into the Gnostic soul, the truth conscious Godhead, the Vijnana Maya Purusha. Seated on that level of the hill of our ascension, we are in a quite different plane from this material, this vital, this mental voice of the universal spirit. And with this changes to all our view and experience of our soul life and of the world around us. We are born into a new soul status and put on a new nature. For according to the status of the soul is the status of the Prakriti. At each transition of this world ascent, from matter to life, from life to mind, from mind bound to free intelligence, as the latent, half manifested, already manifest soul rises to a higher and higher level of being. The nature also is elevated into a superior working, a wider consciousness, a vaster force, and an intenser or larger range and joy of existence. But the transition from the mind self to the knowledge self is the great and decisive transition in the yoga. It is the shaking off of the last hold on us of the cosmic ignorance and our firm foundation in the truth of things, in a consciousness infinite and eternal and inviolable by obscurity, falsehood, suffering, or error.
Okay, wonderful. That's exactly what we discussed in this saying, the same thing. So, but we'll go into the words because.
Rangada,
Yeah, tell me. Tell me.
before you begin the paragraph, I just want to ask you something.
Yes.
Could parallel be what is Parabrahma and Paratpar Brahma when compared to these levels?
Oh, these terms are, quite flexible, but Parabrahman and Paramatman, okay, and Parameshwara,
Paratpar Brahma.
yeah,
Yes.
these are all there, and they have specific meanings, but they can also be very general meanings. But all of them, I think, refer to the third plane, the supermind.
Supermind.
Yeah, supermind. That means the third level. Yeah. Which is the Ishvara consciousness, because Ishvara can also be in one place. I think it's in the essays on the Gita. He uses all these three words: Parameshwaran, okay, Paramatman, Parabrahman. So these are all para. The very word para means the highest. Okay, so you can definitely say in a very general way that all of them belong to the third level, the Gnostic level. Yeah, you could say that.
But not the absolute.
No, the absolute is even above supermind.
That is why I asked Rangata. So
Yes.
absolute is above supermind. So
Yes.
Parabrahma and these are the supermind level.
Yes, because you can experience them. Because the above, if you can experience even the above, but you can't come down to give a report. So you won't have any. You can't come down to give a report as yet. The bridges have not been built.
Can you say that the absolute is also the transcendence?
Yes, you can use that. The word transcendent also is flexible, and when you use the word transcendent, then definitely it means the highest. It could even be the supermind. It could even be the above the supermind also. Remember, words are words. Okay, they are limited, so it depends on the context. Largely to the context.
Rangada, absolute can also mean the Uttama Purusha, no?
Yes, Uttama Purusha is exactly what we were saying, the third level, na? The supermind. Yes. Uttama Purusha is used in the Gita, but it refers to the same thing. That's right. Because if you go above the Uttama Purusha, there is no Purusha there. You can't come down to give a report also. You disappear into the link between the higher and the lower is cut. From the supermind, there is a link. But if you go above that, there is no link as yet. Perhaps it can be built in future. Okay? It's exactly like building a bridge across a river. If there is no bridge, you can't come back. So,
But after the descent of the supramental
yes,
in 1956,
that's
you
right.
think that link is not established?
Not as yet, because an individual in the lower plane has to build it. Okay, so that building process is still going on. Nature also is doing it at a universal level, and an individual also has to do it. Mother has done part of it. In fact, it is surmised and it is guessed that mother has done it right up to the subtle physical, but it has not yet been done into the physical yet. Because if that was done, then you would probably get reports of many who have gone into that highest plane. Okay, but that is still being built.
Now who will build it?
The future avatar. The future avatar. But there is something very interesting. Even in the Indian tradition, they say that after the supermind is manifested, there will be no more avatars. Okay, that's an interesting thought. You can think about it. And it is also said that Srivanda will be the last avatar. Because after that, no more avatars. There will be only Superman. And they will all be avatars.
But Sri Aurobindo has said no. that he will manifest now in the first supramental body built in the supramental way.
That is what I mean by the bridge. Okay. If he can do that, that's a bridge.
Yeah, but
Yes.
then how will he come if he doesn't build the bridge?
No. The very fact that he is coming down in a supramental body means the bridge is built. That's what it means. He is working in the subtle planes now. Mata says that very clearly in the agenda. He is still working there. You remember when Vivekananda is giving instructions to Sri Aurobindo in jail in a subtle body, he is also working, na? So the working at a subtle level is possible, and it can percolate down to the physical world. That can happen. But it's only up to the supermind level. That bridge is still being built. That bridge was built long ago between the level 1 and level 2. That was built. Many yogis have done it. Yogis have done it. It's not easy, but it's possible for every human being who is at a sattvic level, not at a tamasic level or at a rajasic level. But he has to be at a sattvic level, then he can certainly become a yogi and rise to the second level. That's definite. Okay. So, by the way, these are all my interpretations. I may be wrong, and there can be, but I think it is rational what I'm saying. I feel it is rational. Because Sri Aurobindo does talk of building the bridge. Okay, Mother also speaks of that. It's exactly very similar to you have a plot and the plot belongs to you, which is your body, mind, life. But you can build any number of floors on top. It's up to you. You must have the capacity to do that. And if you have the capacity, you can build 7 floors on your own plot. Okay. But you must own the plot first. If you don't own the plot, you can't do it. Okay. So shall we go into each sentence?
Yes, Rangada.
Okay, we'll do that. In our perfect self-transcendence, we pass out and up from the ignorance or half enlightenment to our mental consciousness into the greater wisdom self and truth power above it, there to dwell in the unwalled light of a divine knowledge. We'll identify all the words, okay? In our perfect self-transcendence, we are transcending our body, mind, life, and even the second level. We pass out and up. Now note that it's up and not in. Okay? You are going vertically up. Okay? You get peace, knowledge, power, ananda, all these things are possible. You are not going into yourself. If you are going into yourself, you get all these things are possible to a certain extent, but mainly it is love and devotion. Okay. So we pass out and up. So is so particularly putting the word up from the ignorance or half enlightenment. Which is this plane? The ignorance is total in level 1 and it is half enlightenment in the level 2 of our mental consciousness. Okay. So even level 2 of higher mind, illumined mind, intuitive mind and overmind is half knowledge. It is only half enlightenment. Even the overmind, such a high level, okay, it's still in ignorance because you see the many. Okay, you see all the possibilities of all the gods. They live in the overmind level. So it is still half enlightenment. Into the mental consciousness of our mental consciousness, into the greater wisdom, self and truth power are terms which very clearly indicate the supermind. Wisdom, self and truth power. Note, power is there and the power is based on truth. Okay, this is very clearly the two terms refer to the supermind. Wisdom, self and truth power above it, above level 2, and there to dwell in the unwalled light of divine knowledge. Note the word unwalled, infinite. In the level 2, it is infinite, but it's a lower level of infinity. We have discussed this many times. There is a higher infinity also. Even in mathematics, we have that concept. Okay, that there is an infinity, but there are levels of infinity. Okay, even the physical world is infinite, but obviously physical infinity is less than subtle infinity and the divine infinity, obviously. Okay, so these are the, we have identified the tables. Perfect self-transcendence, supermind. Passing out and up, no vertical climb, not into yourself. Into yourself also you can have spiritual experience, but Srivastava doesn't call that spiritual. Okay, because spiritual means vertically up. You get knowledge from the ignorance or half enlightenment of our mental consciousness into a greater wisdom self and truth power above it, and there to dwell in the unwalled light of a divine knowledge. I go to the next sentence. the mental man that we are is changed into the Gnostic soul. Okay? Your consciousness, the soul becomes Gnostic, not body, mind, life as yet. Okay? The Gnostic soul, the truth conscious Godhead, the Vijnanamaya Purusha. Now, I'll give you a brief, we'll have a discussion on the Purusha. The Purusha, when you refer to Purusha consciousness, it is a personal consciousness. It's a conscious being. The Brahman is not Purusha. Okay? It is Purusha at an infinite level, impersonal level. But when you talk of Purusha, it can take many, many stands from the highest level to the lowest level. The Purusha is that also we discussed now. You can be a child, you can be an adolescent, you can be an adult, and you can be an old man. Okay. So all these, the Purusha also can be an old man, it can be very high level, it can be an adult at a slightly lower level, it can be an adolescent at another level, and you have also a Purusha with ignorant and a child who knows nothing at all. So you have the Annamaya Purusha, the physical Purusha, then you have the vital Purusha. Okay, what do they call that? Annamaya Purusha, Pranamaya Purusha, then Manomaya Purusha, and then you have the Vijnanamaya Purusha. These are all the Purusha, Anandamaya Purusha. Okay. These are the 5 planes in the Indian system. So simply saying Vijnanamaya Purusha, which is very clearly Vijnana. Normally in the Indian system it refers to the supermind. Okay. Seated on that level of the hill of our ascension, see, very interesting, he is talking on the hill because he has told ladder of self-transcendence. So it's a hill, it's a climbing, okay, from one level to another level. Seated on that level of the hill of our conscious ascension, we are in a quite different plane from the material, this vital, this mental poise of the universal spirit. The universal spirit is the cosmic mind, and cosmic mind is at the level 2, remember. And with this changes too all our view and experience of our soul life and the world around us. The soul life is level 2. Because when you are in level 1, there is no soul life. There is only body-mind life. Okay? The body, vital and mind, that's a life that we normally lead. So when Srivastava is talking of soul life, he is obviously referring to the second level. It's a soul life. You are fully conscious of your soul and you are not living so much in the body-mind life. And the world around us, that's a cosmic consciousness. You are aware of it. That is very clearly is level 2. No? So soul life and world around us. We are born into a new soul status. Now that's interesting because the soul can be, as we said just now, it can be imprisoned in the physical. That's a soul status. There is the Annamaya Purusha. Then it can be at the vital mind, vital level. That can be the Pranamaya Purusha. So it's a new soul status. It's a Vijnanamaya Purusha at the higher level. Okay? And put on a new nature. Now that also is interesting. When you are a Annamaya Purusha, your nature is physical. Okay? When you are the Pranamaya Purusha, your nature is mainly vital. When you are in the Manomaya Purusha, you are in a sattvic condition and you are mainly a mental being. You are subtle, you understand things. Then you go to the higher level, then you have the Vijnanamaya Purusha, and then finally the Anandamaya Purusha. So seated on that level of the hill of our ascension, we are in a quite different plane from this material, this vital, this mental poise of our universal spirit. Universal spirit, very clearly the cosmic consciousness. And with this change, changes too all our view and experience of our soul life and the world around us. We are born into a new soul status. The old soul status of level 1 and level 2 is gone and put on a new nature. For according to the status of the soul is the status of the Prakriti. The higher you go, your nature also starts changing all around you. Okay? You put on a new nature, you get power, you get ananda, even the nature changes. Until finally at the highest level, your Purusha and nature become one. Purusha and Prakriti become one at the highest level. That's the symbol in our Ardhanarishwara images in the temples. Okay? They become one. Half man, half woman, that's a way of putting it. Actually, it's got nothing to do with man and woman, and neither has it got anything to do with gender. It's just a way of explaining. Okay? So, one is power and one is consciousness. They become one at the high. That's why in our Indian system, very often they also use the word Chit Shakti with a hyphen. Okay? Chit Shakti. At the highest level, they are all one. But as it keeps coming down, the one becoming the many, there is a breakage, and consciousness becomes independent and power becomes independent. Okay, so I go to the next sentence. For according to the status of the soul is the status of the Prakriti. At each transition of the world ascent from matter to life, from life to mind, from mind bound to free intelligence, as a latent, half manifested or already manifest soul rises to a higher and higher level of being, the nature also is elevated into a superior working, a wider consciousness. Just 1 second. Yeah, a wider consciousness, a vaster force, and an intenser or larger range of and joy of existence. So we'll have a look at this and again identify the words. Okay. We are born into a new soul status that we have discussed. Soul status is now Vijnanamaya Purusha and put on a new nature. Remember, there is a lower nature and a higher nature. Okay? The lower nature is the imperfect body, mind, life nature. Then you have the level 2, you have the spiritual nature. And finally, you have the supramental nature, which becomes divine. Sri Aurobindo calls that the divine consciousness. In the second level, you are not really divine because you still are in ignorance. Only in the supramental, when he uses the word divine, he means that. Okay, so compared to level 1, level 2 is divine, but it's not real divine. Okay, so we are born into a new soul status and put on a new nature. For according to the status of the soul is the status of the Prakriti. They are joined. So if you are in higher consciousness, your nature also changes. That's what he's saying. Okay. At each transition of the world ascent. Now, that's interesting. World ascent. You are an individual, but the world exists even if you don't exist. So there's the stairs, and the stairs is giving matter to life, from life to mind, from mind bound to free intelligence. Okay. Now, where is free intelligence? Very clearly, it is level 2, free intelligence, because it is still intelligence, but it is free. In level 1, it is bound intelligence. You see the importance of the words? Free intelligence is the level 2, the spiritual planes of consciousness. As the latent, half manifested or already manifest soul rises to a higher and higher level of being, the nature also is elevated into a superior working, a wider consciousness, a vaster force, and an intenser or large range and joy of existence. So you get force, you get consciousness, and you also get joy of existence. Ananda also is there. All the three are there. In level 2, you may have a little power, you may have a little joy, Ananda is possible, but it's all the three. consciousness, power and ananda are there at the supramental level. But the transition from the mind self to the knowledge self is a great and the decisive transition in the yoga. It is the shaking off of the last hold on us of the cosmic ignorance. So cosmic ignorance can still be there at level 2, remember, okay? Even the overmind is cosmic ignorance. And our firm foundation in the truth of things, again, he is meaning the third level, the supermind, the truth of things, truth with a T cap, in a consciousness infinite and eternal and inviolable by obscurity, falsehood, suffering and error. So at level 3, there is inviolability. There can be no obscurity, there can be no falsehood, there can be no suffering, nor can there be any error. But even in the spiritual planes of consciousness, error is possible. Okay? Even suffering is possible to a certain extent. Why? Because if you are in a cosmic consciousness, you feel the pain of others, you also feel their joy, but you also feel the pain. Huh? So remember that, okay? The experience of the yogi with the lashes of the whip on his back. So that's his cosmic consciousness, that's level 2. But there also, you can have a suffering. Okay? You may not be affected, but there will be suffering in the body. Okay? Cosmic consciousness, I'm just mentioning, has 3 levels. Okay? One level, you are conscious of the pain and pleasure of everybody else, which is a great thing because you identify yourself with everybody else, it's oneness. Level 2, you feel the pain and the joy of others, but you are not affected. You are not affected. Okay? Level 3, you have even the power to create the suffering of others. You have the power to relieve the suffering of others. So these are the 3 levels of the cosmic consciousness. And I am mentioning to you, the level 1, even in the cosmic consciousness, you can be affected. I give you 2 examples, okay? And you have to understand this in the right way. One is the yogi who is identified with the animal being whipped and the whip marks appear on his own back. Naturally, the body is suffering. When you get a whip mark on your body, you are not going to remain peaceful and calm. But the second level, and I give you another example, okay? It happened once to mother. She was in the playground and suddenly she vomited once. Now that's a physical thing, okay? Vomiting is not a pleasant thing at all. Why did that happen? Because she was in a cosmic consciousness and she had identified herself with somebody in Golconda who was vomiting. Okay? That's what happened. She is not capable of herself being subject to that. But the third level would be, as I told you in the supramental world, okay, you would have the power to relieve the pain of others. So remember that. So now I come to this. The word he has used here already, na? From free intelligence, level 2. Latent, half manifested level 2. Already manifest soul rises to a higher and higher level of being. The nature also is elevated to a superior working, a wider consciousness, a vaster force and an intenser or larger range and joy of existence. Now, I read the next sentence. But the transition from the mind self to the knowledge self is a great and decisive transition of the yoga. Now he is talking of the knowledge self. Okay. Earlier also he has spoken of the Vijnanamaya Purusha. Okay. Again note, divine knowledge, Vijnanamaya Purusha, knowledge self, he is talking of the supermind. Don't think that it is the see, words are, you have to understand the words in the context, okay? It's a great and decisive transition in the yoga. It is the shaking off. You shake off the last hold on us of the cosmic ignorance, and that's at the overmind level, okay? You shake off the last hold on us of the cosmic ignorance and our firm foundation in the truth of things, in a consciousness infinite and eternal and inviolable by obscurity, falsehood, suffering and error. These things are not possible in the supramental consciousness. We go to the next one now. Okay. So this is the first summit. So one of you read.
Can I read?
Yeah, do that.
This is the first summit which enters into the divine perfection. Sadharmya, Tadrashya. For all the rest, only look up it for or catch some rays of its significance. The highest heights of mind or of overmind comes still within the belt of a mitigated ignorance. They can refract a divine light but not pass it on the undiminished power to our lower members. For so long as we are within the triple stratum of mind, life, and body, our active nature continues to work in the force of the ignorance, even when the soul in mind possesses something of the knowledge. And even if the soul were to reflect or to represent all the largeness of knowledge in its mental consciousness, it would be unable to mobilize it rightly in force of action. The truth in its action might greatly increase, but it would still be pursued by a limitation, still condemned to a divisibility which would prevent it from working integrally in the power of the infinite. The power of a divinely illumined mind may be immense compared with ordinary powers, but it will still be subject to incapacity, and there can be no perfect correspondence between the force of the effective will and the light of the idea which inspires it. The infinite presence may be there in status, but the dynamics of the operations of nature still belongs to the power Prakriti, must follow its triple modes of working, and cannot give any adequate form of the greatness within it. This is the tragedy of ineffectivity of the hiatus between ideal and effective will, of our constant incapacity to work out in living form and action the truth we feel in our inner conscious that pursues all the aspiration of mind and life towards the divinity behind them. But the Vijnana or Gnosis is not only truth, but truth power. It is the very working of the infinite and divine nature. It is the divine knowledge, one with the divine will in the force, and delight of a spontaneous and luminous, inevitable self fulfillment. By the gnosis, then we change our human into divine nature.
Yeah. So he is describing the transition from level 2 to level 3. Okay. He is telling you that level 2, even if it is spiritual plane of consciousness, there is still a limitation. There is no power. Okay. But here again, we'll identify all the words. But today we have run out of time. Okay. So we'll do this next time. And again, what is sadharmya, what is sadrishya, and what does he mean by that? And then truth and power he is discussing. So what is all that exactly what it means? We'll do it next time. So we have to note down the page number is 475 and the para is the second one. This is the first summit. Okay. So
Yes, I will make a note.
okay.